Okay, let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today into, well, what feels less like a test match and more like, I don't know, some kind of high-speed chase.
Absolutely. We're talking about the World Test Championship Final, Lords, June 12th, 2025. And honestly, it's been frantic.
Frantic is the word. Just 2 days in and, what is it, 28 wickets,
Yeah,
already down. It's just incredible.
28 at Lords in a final. It's moving at lightning speed. This thing is just hurtling towards some kind of conclusion.
And that pitch on day two, it wasn't exactly the usual Lord's featherbed, was it?
Oh, not at all. It felt, well, grumpy is maybe one word for it. Unpredictable bounce, plenty of seam movement. It was asking serious questions, like it had its own agenda.
Definitely making life tough for the batters. So our mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack day two, because South Africa looked, frankly, dead and buried after their first innings.
Completely. They were way behind.
But somehow they managed to claw their way back. And it was all down to that pace attack, wasn't it? Just electrifying stuff.
It really was. So, yeah, we need to dig into those key moments, the big performances, the turning points. That contrast between bat and ball on day two was just stark.
Okay, so let's set the scene.
Yeah.
Start of day two, South Africa are resuming, what was it, 43 for 4?
That's right, 43 for 4. Still trailing Australia's 212 by 169 runs. A huge deficit already.
And that top order had just vanished the day before.
Yeah.
The whole lineup felt a bit wobbly, like in an IKEA table you haven't quite put together right.
That's a good analogy, actually. It just didn't feel stable under that Aussie pressure.
But there was that little glimmer, wasn't there? The captain, Temba Bavuma, he got 36. David Bedingham looked okay for his 45. They put on 64 together.
Yeah, there was a moment there, a brief one. You thought, okay, maybe they can rebuild this. Maybe there's a way back into the innings.
Brief with the operative word.
Yeah.
Because then Pat Cummins just decided, nope.
He really did. He stepped up, the Australian captain, and just delivered an absolute killer spell.
Yeah.
Ripped through the middle and lower order.
What were his final figures again? Something ridiculous?
6 for 28. Just phenomenal bowling. He was finding that perfect length, just outside off, getting it to move just enough. It was relentless.
He made it look almost easy, like unwrapping presents, edge after edge.
And he brought up his 300th test wicket in the process. A massive milestone for him.
Huge for him, devastating for South Africa. By lunch, that was it. All out for 138.
Yep, 138 all out, conceding a first innings lead of 74 runs on that pitch, giving away 74. That felt like a mountain.
It really did. It felt like they left half their skills back in the dressing room or something. A score like that, it just puts you so far behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely. It was a deeply underwhelming batting performance, and you felt Australia were completely in control heading into their second inning.
And then the game just flipped on its head, didn't it? Australia come out to bat, maybe thinking about building a huge lead.
And South Africa's bowlers came out breathing fire. It was immediate. The intensity was just completely different.
Kagiso, Rabada, Lungi and Ngidi, supported by Jansen and Mulder, too, they just unleashed this barrage.
And Australia just couldn't cope. It was targeted. It was aggressive. It was just nonstop pressure.
Nonstop is. Watching that scorecard, it just kept ticking over, wickets falling. Australia suddenly reeling at, what, 73 for 7?
73 for 7. It was incredible to watch. Almost like, watching lions take down gazelles or something. It was sudden, brutal. World-class batters looking lost.
And the main architect of that, you have to say, Kagiso Rabada.
Without a doubt. KG, he was just a maestro of menace out there. He's the kind of bowler who makes batters wish they'd, I don't know, called in sick.
And he loves Lords, doesn't he? He got 5 wickets in the first innings, too. His second 5 for here.
He does seem to thrive here, but that spell in the second innings, given the context, it was arguably even more important.
That period in the second session, 2 wickets and 3 balls. That just ripped the heart out of Australia's top order.
Usman Khawaja first, who's usually so solid, like a brick wall. Then Cameron Green, who just looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him up. Bang, bang.
What is it about Rabada? Is it just pace, or is it more?
It's the whole package, really. Pace, yes, but it's that steep bounce he gets, the sheer intimidation factor. He makes the ball talk, And on a pitch like that, sometimes it feels like it's screaming past the bat.
It felt like he was almost bullying them, imposing his will.
But it wasn't just wild aggression. There was real precision there, too, wasn't there?
Oh, definitely. He wasn't just spraying it. He kept hitting that good length over and over, challenging the outside edge, bringing the stumps into play. He was using every bit of help the pitch offered, like a surgeon with a cricket ball.
Exactly. And, You heard him talk about it afterwards, didn't you? He said something like, the ball was nipping, but he felt batters could still score. His plan was just, well, bowl well, put more balls in the right spot for longer, and chances will come.
Which basically translates to, I'm going to make your life absolutely miserable, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
Pretty much. And the crowd felt it too. Those South African fans chanting his name to the Seven Nation Army tune. Goosebump stuff.
Gave me goosebumps just listening.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just drowning out the sound of Australian wickets clattering. He finished the day with 3 for 44, right? Crucial figures.
Absolutely crucial. A game-changing spell. But, you know, he wasn't the only one.
No, Lungi and Ngidi. Now there's a story. Talk about a comeback.
Right. The comeback kid with a massive point to prove. Because his first innings, well, it wasn't great.
Not great is an understatement. 45 runs in 8 overs, economy over 5.5. He was leaking runs like a sieve.
And he copped some stick for it, too. You saw comments online, even from big names like Dale Stein, questioning his run-up, calling it a bit pedestrian.
That must sting. But how did he respond?
Brilliantly. Second innings, he just tightened everything up, found his lines, used his height, let the ball do the work, and suddenly he was incredibly threatening.
And the rewards came. 3 wickets for him, too.
3 for 35, a fantastic return. And big wickets, Pat Cummins himself and Bo Webster. Remember Webster's gritty 72 in the first innings? Felt like a lifetime ago by the time Ngidi was done.
So that gamble by the coach, Shukri Conrad Bavuma, picking Ngidi maybe for his height and pace over perhaps a more consistent bowler like Patterson, it paid off in the end.
On day 2, absolutely. It looked shaky after day 1, but his performance in that second innings was like a full-on sprint to redemption. He silenced the doubters.
His spell, along with Rabada's, just left Australia gasping, didn't it?
Yeah.
Gave South Africa a real fighting chance when it looked like they had none.
It really did. But, you know, despite that incredible bowling, Australia didn't completely fold.
No, that collapse to 73 for 7 was bad, obviously.
Yeah.
A comedy of errors almost. You saw world-class players like Labuschagne and Smith just fail. Shows how tough the bowling was.
It really does. It felt like South Africa might just run through them completely. But just when you thought they had the game totally wrapped up...
Australia found a bit of fight down the order. That rearguard action.
Exactly. Alex Carey, mainly, he batted really well for his 43. Very calm, very composed under huge pressure. It was like he found an extra life in a video game or something.
And Mitchell Starc hung around with him too. Got 16 not out at the end. Just survived.
Survived and got lucky. That drop catch, Marco Jansen in the final over. Should have taken it. Simple chance.
Oh, that was a shocker. The kind of drop that makes coaches want to tear their hair out. Fans probably screamed into their pints. A potentially huge moment.
It really felt like it could be, because it meant Australia ended the day 144 for 8. The lead is 218.
Right. So 218 runs ahead, but only 2 wickets left. It's substantial, that lead, especially on this pitch.
It is substantial, but the game still feels incredibly balanced, doesn't it? Like a tightrope walker in a proper gusty wind. Anything could happen.
This is shaping up to be a classic final, isn't it? Forget classic Test cricket pace. This is like T20 on fast forward with 28 wickets in 2 days.
It's wild. Australia definitely have the runs on the board. That gives them the edge. But South Africa's bowlers, they've shown they can blow teams away in a session.
And you hear that in the reactions, too. David Beddingham sounding really positive, saying he's very, very excited, and it could go either way.
Whereas Pat Cummins was a bit more measured, wasn't he? Calling it 50-50.
Which you can understand. If South Africa can wrap up these last 2 wickets quickly tomorrow morning, keep the target to, say, 225, maybe 250 at a push.
Then it's absolutely game on. As Ngidi said, people are getting their money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah, so day 3 is just perfectly set up. South Africa need those 2 wickets fast. Then the big one, the chase.
And what a chase it'll be. Anything over 200 on this pitch against that Australian attack, Cummins, Starc, Hazelwood, they'll be relentless. That's a monumental task.
The pressure on those South African batters is going to be immense. After that first innings display.
Dismal, wasn't it? They need a complete turnaround. Someone needs to play the innings of their life. They need to channel some inner Houdini to escape the inevitable tough periods. Or maybe channel their inner Rabada, find that focus, that ferocity.
Because another collapse like the first innings, and it's game over. Trophy goes to Australia. They just cannot afford that.
And think about the bigger picture, too. For South Africa, this is more than just a trophy, isn't it? It's a chance to maybe finally shed that Joker's label. And that long, long wait for an ICC title, 27 years.
Winning at Lord's like this, after being so far behind, it'd be seismic. Like the local kebab shop suddenly getting a Michelin star. Completely transformative.
And for Australia, it's about cementing their dominance, proving they're the best test team, hands down.
That's why we love Test cricket, right? This is the ultimate format. Grueling, unpredictable, gloriously chaotic sometimes.
Exactly. It tests everything. Skill, nerve, heart. It delivers drama you just don't get anywhere else, these heart-stopping moments.
So day 2 at Lord's. We had the collapse, the incredible pace bowling fight back, the late resistance. It was just nonstop drama.
And it leaves the match hanging by a thread. That 218-run lead feels both big and fragile somehow. It's tougher to call than a 2-day-old naan bread.
So the big question for day 3, what gives? Will South Africa's batting finally stand up under the ultimate pressure? Or will Australia's bowlers just prove too good and seal the deal?
That first hour tomorrow, wrapping up the innings, then facing that new ball. Absolutely critical, but the beauty is we just don't know. That unpredictability, it promises a finish we'll be talking about for a long, long time.